Ritesh, it's a pleasure to be here today. And like I said, this is one of those moments where I feel like, cold emailing and perseverance really helps. And my show is called Conversations Amplified. Started this about 6 months or so ago, just to talk to people more as a passion project, learn from them, get some knowledge and wisdom for youngsters like myself who, just thrive on such knowledge and wisdom and things like that. And the reason I wanted to talk to you was number one, I'm very inspired by your journey from where you were to where you are today. And I think humility is something that I've grown up with, and I think you personify humility according to me. And I just wanted this conversation. Usually, the conversations I have are very subject specific. And with the whole rebranding to Prism now, I just wanted to talk to you more about the reasons behind that. What made you do it, and what were the challenges you faced, and things like that. So I just want to first understand you rebranded now to Prism, and I think the co-creating aspect of it, where you actually put out a message saying that, hey, give us names, right? Tell me what you would like as the name, and you chose a winner for the competition and things, is something that a lot of people talk about or very few people do. So how did the whole co-create, let's ask our customers, let's ask people, what the name should be come about, and how did the whole rebranding to Prism?
So thanks for having me here, Aditya, with you. And you should know that I have been a big proponent of cold emails.
Yeah.
Back in the day, there used to be this platform called Reportive, which is now sold to LinkedIn, which was fantastic to identify cold emails, because if you put a different permutation and combination of email, it would tell you which email is accurate. So then
Yeah.
when you cold email, it reached the right person. I think now there is also some platforms which are available for this. I think beyond cold email, I also believe in the pursuit of mental stimulation, which is what you mentioned, which is how does one constantly surround themselves with people who bring newer perspective, newer ideas to make them, a better version of themselves. So the reason why I also, of course, try to look, I receive lots of cold emails, so it's always hard to sort of get past. But I think, our colleagues, of course, saw something specific in you, and I had, of course, the opportunity to learn from them about you, that we are in touch. And I constantly look to try and learn from folks, because there are always different perspectives that each one of us are learning from. In terms of rebranding to Prism, look, my perspective is India is in a unique place today where we have what I call as supportive patriotism, which means that the reason I call supportive as an adjective in advance is I feel like an average Indian wants every Indian startup to win, period.
Yeah.
Right? Now, of course, there may be some criticism, some feedback, some challenges which may be there, but I do believe that they all come from a good place. They all come from the place of wanting to see another Indian startup win. So my perspective was that if I am such a strong believer in it, I should act behind it. And that is why we put this out. To be honest, we were prepared for both circumstances. The first circumstance being that we'll put this out and probably nobody will apply. And an entrepreneur will always prepare for plan A, B, and C. But I was positively surprised or shocked to see few thousand applications that came by. And of course, I'm so happy that three of the candidates got it right, which is now our corporate brand. So to my perspective, I think it is largely to do with this belief of saying that, and every Indian wants an Indian startup to win. And if they do, then they'll all help us.
Yeah. But when did you actually think, or when did the thought of taking Oyo, now Prism Global, really come about? Because you had very strong roots in India, right? That's when you established it, you grew it. When I think of Oyo, I think of hotels, I think of comfort, I think of, budget. But when did you actually think that, hey, this is something that we can take globally and, actually put up a footprint in the US or in Europe and abroad?
Look, to your point, right after I returned from the Thiel Fellowship, there was significant opportunity in the economy and mid-scale hotels in India. So I said, okay, we'll make Oyo the number one choice in the economy segment. clean, comfortable room at the right price point. It did extremely well. We grew all across India. I'd say there were three things that led us to think about global expansion, premiumization, and to some extent, movement towards advent towards homes. I think the first one, which is global expansion, we started seeing this momentum of people saying, I am the OYO for Europe, I am the OYO for Southeast Asia, I am the OYO for New York. So that made us feel like, well, we built all this competency grounds up. And if there is promise in some of the other places, why should we not do it? And we first experimented. The first country we went out to was Malaysia, which did extremely well for us. And then we went, across Asia, and then we expanded to Europe, which did very well for us. And then we went to North America. The second point, which is premiumization, I think, to be honest, that was a harder one.
Right.
Because I was so much in love with economy that despite my colleagues constantly coming to me, I'd sort of constantly turn them down and say, let's focus on economy.
Yeah.
But our customers are rapidly premiumizing, right? In India, our friends who used to have a certain salary 5 years ago, now the salary is probably 2x of it or more. And that's fair because India is a growing country and that should reflect in people's increase in compensations. So to that extent, it made me sort of see an opportunity of saying, as people earn more, they'll want to graduate from OYO to townhouse hotels, from townhouse hotels to Belvilla hotels, from Belvilla hotels to Palette hotels, and from there to Sunday hotels where we are at today. So that's why we premiumized. And the third is homes. Homes because we saw after COVID or around COVID, people were wanting to move from private rooms to apartments or villas so that they can have a kitchen, a living area, and so on. So these are three things that evolved. But the big picture is you have to be, the customer is the king. You have to listen to the customer, and whatever the customer wants, we do it. I think there's some people who are as innovative or blessed, like Steve Jobs, where he didn't need a customer to tell what he needed to create. But we are not that. We are common mortals, and for us, you want to listen to our customers and create great products for them.
Yeah. But also on that point, right? Let's say you have Hotel 6 in the US, you have Danland now, and you have a couple of vacation homes, like you said. How do you think, or what's the thinking behind that? Hey, I want to acquire X company or X brand. And Motel 6, for example, is a legacy brand. It's been around for 50, 60 plus years, right? What's the thinking and how do you, bring it into the Prism family and make it feel like a familiar sort of a place for your customers?
So our thesis on M&A is very simple. We look at acquisitions with a perspective of saying it should add some unique competency that we do not provide today.
Sure.
So to that extent, Motel 6 brought a unique competency of deep historical relationships with franchise in North America for a long period of time.
Okay.
So to that extent, we thought it's great that we are able to get all those relationships together and combine that with our efforts in terms of our digital systems that we had created. We thought when we combine both of those, there is a significant amount of value creation that we can have. So to that extent, I think we were quite optimistic about that, and I think our effort so far has been going out there, being on the ground, meeting our franchisees. I don't think that we are fully done yet. I think it will take us, typically in good M&A takes 2 years of time period, 2 to 2.5 years to be fully integrated.
Sure.
So I feel we will get there. And it's our job to listen to our franchisees and then take a step ahead. It'll take them a step ahead and we'll find somewhere midway each other.
Yeah. But I'm sure the whole M&A process, like you mentioned, wasn't as straightforward as you make it out to be. What were some of the challenges or hurdles that, you face in the process of, because each country has their own laws. You need to have, different rules and there are different regulations in the US compared to compared to Europe. So what were the challenges you faced in terms of your expansion? And
Look, there's quite a few challenges across the world as you expand, but I'll always bring you back to saying that while those challenges exist, there's also a lot of opportunity as well as positive tailwinds that we have. What are the tailwinds? There is significant amount of interest in India-built companies around the world because we are seen as this growing economy with a democracy, with an open-minded perspective to growth. The second is there's a lot of opportunity in terms of the modern technologies our engineers in India are able to create that people around the world love. Our marketing is very rooted in reality. People sort of like that perspective that we bring. So I think there's a lot of things that are going our way. There are clearly hurdles, which could be rules and regulations of different countries, different kind of talent. But my view is that, you will eventually sort of get past them.
Yeah. But also when you go behind a particular brand, do you look at things like, let's say, if a brand is in trouble, for example, let's bring that into our portfolio, let's grow it? Or do you look at, let's say this brand is already thriving, they have a footprint of 50,000, 60,000 customers. What's the thinking behind
Yeah, look, I think we are
behind it?
constantly looking for actually great brands because our perspective is turning around a brand is too much of a work. You'd rather do it organically.
Yeah.
But if you're acquiring something, you want to acquire something that is already incredible. Motel 6 was incredible. There is
Yeah.
almost nobody in the United States would not know about what Motel 6 is.
Exactly.
It's a popular brand on every street across the US.
Yeah.
Consumers love it. Franchisees love it. So to that extent, I think we are willing to pay up for that kind of stuff. Where our perspective is a great brand, we'd rather pay up for it.
Yeah. But how do you make those feel like an Oyo or a Prism, right? Because Motel 6 has its legacy.
Yeah.
It has, customers associated with, the way
Yeah.
they've been doing for the past 50 or so years. How do you bring in that, the
So
familiarity?
our
which,
perspective is that you have to honor the tradition and the love that Motel 6 has
right.
and combine that with some new ideas that we bring. So for example, the locations will look the same from outside, but the mobile app will be powered by, our global partners who understand what it takes to create a responsive, high-quality mobile product.
Sure.
The in-room standards will be that of Motel 6.
Yeah.
But we will look to see that how can we do sourcing better to reduce costs and improve quality for our franchisees. There would be situations of marketplace systems which we would improve or evolve, but at the same time our area managers or DOs, as we call them, who are responsible for the relationship with the franchise and the quality control, they'd be the same people. So my perspective is there's a bunch of things that the brand is doing right, keep them. There's a bunch of areas where there's a lot of innovation possible, double down on that.
Sure. But is this more of also a valuation sort of play? Because when I look at it, and I think of Oyo, and now when I think of Sunday Hotels, when I think of Motel 6, it increases the whole brand value as such. Is this also something around the
So
valuation play?
it is, I would say, more of an earnings play, which is eventually the first principle is that if the market is X,
Yeah.
if you get 10% of X, there is only so much revenue or earnings you can receive.
Yeah.
If you keep expanding the market, you go from India budget hotels, which is where we started with.
Correct.
You go then to premium hotels in India.
Yeah.
And then you do both of them global. And then you do homes.
Yeah.
So there is so much opportunity. And if you can pursue more and more of it and translate that into revenue and earnings, then the market will give you the valuation. But purely because you entered a segment, will you get a valuation? Not at all. But if you entered and are able to generate good earnings and results, then there is a potential that you'll get the rewarded for it.
Right. And finally, Ritesh, what's next? Do you almost see Prism being the global operating system for hospitality worldwide? Because when I look at all of the other companies, right, they have different brands and different price ranges. Is that where you want to take Prism to? Is that
Yeah, I think
is
we
that
want
the
to
end
be
goal?
the first digital native hospitality operating system, which is most of our competitors have built their businesses in the world where digital was not prevalent. We started our company in the world of digital, in the world of AI.
Yeah.
So our thesis is because we have most of our technology stack either in-house or deep integrated with third-party partners,
Yeah.
it allows us to create a quality of experience which is unparalleled on the technology side. So yes, my perspective is that Prism should eventually become the most preeminent operating system in the world of hospitality, but with a minor difference that we also want to be the most digital savvy at it.
Yeah. And I don't think you're too far away from that now, is it?
A long way to go. Long way to go.
But you've made great strides in where you are.
I
So,
always say that look to the future for inspiration and look to the past for satisfaction.
yeah. No, this talk for me has been inspiring, Ritesh. And
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. It was
And I
great
really
talking to
appreciate
you.
it.
And again,
I really
lots
wish
of
you all
luck.
the very best, and
And,
I hope your AI efforts as well as your thoughts and ideas do get amplified in times to come.
yeah, I'm sure this conversation would definitely help with that. So thank you so much, Ritesh. It was a
Appreciate it.
pleasure.
Have a
Thank you
good
so
one.
much.